Good morning and welcome back to another Sunday morning chat with Field Notes for Pet Pros. If you haven't already done so, be sure to grab your copy of the Serious Incident and Fatality Step 3 program. Check. It dropped last Thursday, and you can find your available downloadable copy right here on Substack. Field note number 48. The hidden geography of pet care success. Why some care does not naturally behave like venture-scaled service work. There's a conversation that quietly runs underneath the pet care industry that almost nobody wants to say out loud. A lot of business advice being amplified right now from outlier markets. None of them are bad businesses, dishonest or unsuccessful businesses. Quite the opposite. They're very successful. But they are outliers. And if you're a solo pet sitter sitting in suburban Ohio or rural Pennsylvania or other parts of the Midwest or countless spread out markets across the country, you can spend a lot of time listening to podcast interviews, conference panels, and growth conversations wondering why your business doesn't look like theirs. The answer may not be your skill level. The answer may be geography. Because the operational realities of building a pet sitting business in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Miami, New York City, San Francisco, L.A., or even dense portions of Chicago are fundamentally different than building one in a mid-density or lower-density market. That is not criticism. It's just the economics of it. Dense urban markets support that tighter routing, those shorter drive times, the higher concentration of affluent professionals, more condo and apartment living, stronger premium on service acceptance, and high client density per square mile. And those things matter a lot, especially in niche services like cat sitting. But somewhere along the way, parts of the pet care industry started talking about these highly visible businesses as if they represented the standard model instead of a specialized one. Most pet sitters in America are not operating inside a luxury urban corridor. Most are dealing with windshield time, suburban spread, staffing challenges, rising insurance costs, fragmented schedules, and clients spread across multiple municipalities. And that changes the math entirely. Pet sitting businesses models across different markets. There's basically 4 models, 4 markets, and 4 very different operational realities. We look at the dense urban corridor. Their geographic structure is dense urban and inner suburban corridor. Their routing density is high. They have high route compression. Their likely staffing model is a large team of 20 or more sitters. The operational pressure points are staffing consistency, quality control, and rapid scheduling needs. The strength of their model is efficient scaling, route compression, and access to that affluent urban corridor. Their example for service focus might be enrichment, medical support, apartment living expertise. Model number 2 is the broad suburban territory with multiple zip codes. The broad suburban and ex-urban sprawl across multiple zip codes. Their routing density drops to medium to low, with wider distances and territory-style coverage. Their likely staffing model is going to be a distributed team for territory coverage. Their operational pressure points become the windshield time, the territory coverage, and seasonal fluctuations. The strengths of their model is a wide service reach, high local presence, and territory-based reliability. An example of their service focus might be in-home pet care, premium care, and longer visits. In a mid-density metro area, think university or regional hub areas. They're centralized around a metro with either a professional or a university-type hub. Their routing density is going to be medium with a moderate route compression. Their staffing model is going to be a moderate team scaling for feasible. Operational pressure points are student and seasonal turnover, demand, and spikes. The strengths of this model are a stable professional client base and centralized metro advantage. An example for their care service are professional systems. And then you have the fourth model, which is a fragmented suburban model. It's fragmented suburban municipalities spread out over a large scope of neighborhoods. That routing density is going to be medium to low. It's fragmented routes with a much higher drive time. And their likely staffing model is going to be a solo sitter or a specialist for continuity-based care. Operational pressure points are going to be drive fragmentation, challenges for winter travel, and limited route efficiency. The strengths of their model is they can provide high continuity of care, long-term relationships, and specialized care. Examples of the services they might focus on is medical observation and behavioral expertise. The point of going through that is the models are not competing on the same operational playing field. And when the operational playing field doesn't look the same, safety is not a one-size-fits-all. These different operational structures don't just affect profitability. They shape your exposure, your staffing pressure, your response capability, your fatigue, and observational quality. A safety plan that works beautifully in a dense urban team model can fail in a solo continuity model, and vice versa. One of the most common mistakes I see in pet care and safety discussions is assuming that successful practices automatically transfer from one environment to another. They don't. Operational models create its own strengths, vulnerabilities, and failure points. A dense urban team may struggle with communication hands-off, visit stacking, and maintaining consistency across multiple sitters. A solo continuity-based practice may benefit from deep client knowledge and strong observational quality, but face challenges related to lone worker exposure, backup coverage, and fatigue accumulation. Neither model is inherently safer. They are simply exposed to different risks. This is why a safety program should be built around the operational reality rather than industry trends. The question is not whether another company's system works. The question is whether that system matches the geography, staffing architecture, routing demands, and care expectations of your own business. Before adopting someone else's approach, it helps to understand what hazards their models was designed to solve and whether those are the same hazards that you face. How operational models shape safety in pet sitting. Different markets create different structures, create different safety exposures. The dense urban team model, their likely safety advantages are a short drive time, which reduces exposure on the road. They have a faster backup and sitter substitution. It's high density, which equals more eyes nearby. Early oversight and team support and predictable geography. Their safety pressures, though, are a little different. They have a compressed schedule, which increases your time pressure. High visit volume can drive rushed transitions, team communication breakdowns, and burnout from visit stacking. The broad regional model, their advantages are a wide territory presence, local sitter familiarity with the sub-areas, and the ability to build territory pods for coverage, and a client base of diversification. Their safety challenges are long windshield time and travel fatigue, weather exposure, like heat, storms, or hurricanes, delayed backup due to distance, and rural or low-density isolation for your sitters. A mid-density team model, again, their likely advantages are a more moderate drive time, balanced coverage and scalability. Institutions for professionals create predictability and team support available without extreme scale. Their pressure points for safety reasons are demand spikes, staffing inconsistency and turnover, variable experience level around the teams, and moderate scheduling pressure. The solo model, their likely advantages are deep knowledge of each pet and home, strong pattern recognition and early issue detection. A consistent relationship equals lower pet stress and high quality observational care. Their likely safety pressures are lone worker vulnerabilities, no immediate backup redundancy, definitely fatigue concentration in the one person, and emotional and mental accumulation load. Different operational models create different types of exposure, and a safety plan that works in one market may fail in another. The solo continuity model, and why it may be powerful, is in the cat sitting niche has a particular interesting version of this problem because feline care is often framed as simpler or smaller than dog-focused businesses. Quieter? Yes. Simpler? Not necessarily. Image of Oliver was one radiologically hot cat after his second I-131 treatment that the client even left us a Geiger counter to use around him. A large percentage of my own work involves repeat medical visits, aging cats, behavior monitoring, medication administration, and continuity-based care relationships over years. That work does not scale the same way as high volume dog walking does, and nor should it. I'm also a solo sitter, and that matters because many of my feline clients are not simply attached to the company, they are attached to the consistency of the person walking through the door. The cat relationship itself becomes part of the business model, and that creates a different operational structure than many of the scaling conversations happening online right now. I don't watch the clock the way some business systems tell us we should, not because time doesn't matter, but because time is not the primary metric I use to evaluate care. The metric is stability. The metric is whether a shy cat finally emerges from under the bed on day 4. The metric is whether an aging cat is eating differently than yesterday. The metric is whether behavior shifted subtly enough for me to notice before a client comes home. That metric is continuity. The metric is outcome-based care. This kind of invisible labor is difficult to squeeze into a stopwatch of productivity systems, but it creates something many scaling models struggle to replicate: deep trust and exceptional observational care. Because feline care often looks quiet from the outside. There's no barking, no leashes, no dramatic social media videos. Okay. Cats did invent the internet. But in the cat sitter world, it is often just observation, pattern recognition, medical consistency, deep behavioral literacy, and, most importantly, a pet sitter who can gain the cat's trust. The irony is that this quieter model may actually be more sustainable for some solar sitters in lower density markets than trying to force themselves into becoming the next $1 million pet sitting company. So we look to reframe success a little bit. That phrase gets repeated often in our industry now, the $1 million company. But I think we need to ask a harder set of questions. What if sustainability in pet care has been incorrectly framed as scale? What if some businesses are healthier when they become more specialized instead of larger? And what if continuity, retention, trust, and controlled operational density are better long-term metrics than raw volume? Not every pet sitter needs to build a massive team. Not every market is going to support one. And not every successful pet care business should look identical. And maybe that's the part that bothers me. Some of us are building something quieter. We are not smaller in professionalism and are often highly skilled. We just bring to the industry a different value proposition. And maybe it's time the industry started acknowledging that difference more honestly. So the big takeaway here is safety, profitability, and sustainability in pet care are shaped by geography, routing realities, your staffing structure, and the type of care you want to deliver. Different environments create different strengths and vulnerabilities. And recognizing that is not defeatist, it's realistic, it's professional, and ultimately more helpful to the thousands of sitters operating outside the dense urban spotlight. That's it for this Sunday. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and have a wonderful and safe week.